So you only had group therapy?
Yeah, because
He did his own thing. You didn't do what the group did you?
I don't know.
Did you have any individualized care? Did they work with you one-on-one or no?
Yes,
Yeah? Alright, so how'd the one-on-one go?
not as good as I would have liked it to go.
I don't know, why not?
She would get me up there between of all different people.
Okay, so it was, but last time you went to rehab, it wasn't as many people at the same time, right?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay, and you feel you got stronger last time you went to rehab than this time?
Yeah, some bars and then go off and work with somebody else and leave me sit there.
Okay. Okay, was that like a group session, or what was that like?
Well, see, they had a bunch of PTs in there, and they were working.
Dr. Smith, physical therapist here, and before I address what you just saw in that video, I'm going to give you a background of what's going on. Based on a recent post I've made this week in Facebook groups on my own other platforms and channels such as YouTube, my own Facebook page, Instagram, and so on, a lot of people are pissed off at me, and a lot of people are agreeing with me because I'm sharing the reality of what's going on in the physical therapy profession. Not only are patients getting worse, as in the video you just saw, but therapists are getting laid off, and what's going to happen is patients are going to continue to get worse because of these layoffs. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to post a stream of comments from my own post and other posts so you can see that I'm not making this up. So I'm going to take a minute for you guys to just look at all these comments coming through about what's going on, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about everything. All right, now that you've seen what's going on, hopefully you pause to read a few of them so you can see I'm not making shit up, is that when PDPM, the patient-driven payment model, hit skilled nursing facilities in October 1st to be exact, the way therapy was done and reimbursed completely changed. Many therapists, high-paid, highly skilled therapists, were laid off because therapy is no longer driving the bottom line. Now, if it was just skilled nursing facilities, it might not be as bad. Unfortunately, these same changes are going to happen under PDGM, the patient-driven grouping model, come January 1st in home health, where therapy again is no longer driving bottom line. So we're seeing a mass layoff of therapists. And you can Google this. The New York Times released an article on it for skilled nursing facilities. We're probably going to see more articles come out in January, especially as agencies do a cash grab right now. Home health agencies are doing a big cash grab because they know January 1st, the payments are changing completely. They used to get 60% of their payments up front in the prospective model. That's going away. So if they were already struggling for cash flow, they are going to shut down. And if you watch my prior videos from months ago, you saw that this can be $250,000 or more loss, or $250,000 or more gain based on the agency. That being said, lots of agencies are going to struggle when their cash flow completely changes come January 1st. And we've already seen skilled nursing facilities tell therapists, I'm not going to get, sorry, I had a technical issue there with the camera. But what we saw is skilled nursing therapists being told they're not going to be laid off. And then come December, they're all laid off. And now we're seeing a bunch of therapists being laid off in home care, thousands of therapists being laid off, and now trying to hire people at lower rates or just really use therapists PRN and just use PTAs for everything else. Now, this is going to be a problem when we have new students coming out and oversaturation of therapists in certain areas. Again, rural areas, you may be okay. I'm not saying all hope is lost. I'm just explaining the situation. And then a year from now, we're gonna have an 8% cut in outpatient. So Medicare is basically cutting therapy on all fronts. It's hurting evaluating therapists, it's hurting assistants, and pay is dropping rapidly. Nobody's talking about this. Now, I'm probably one of the first people to talk about this. I was one of the first people to break down this content in a way for you guys to understand a few months ago. So I'm presenting it to you like it is. And I am in corporate meetings. I am discussing what we're gonna do therapy-wise, why we have to fire certain people, why we have to hire certain people at a lower rate to make sure our cash flow is okay for our home care division, why under ALF divisions or skilled nursing divisions and so on, what the plan is to max out Part B before that cut comes. And the reason we have to do that is to have cash flow to still pay our other therapists and other employees. Now, people don't want to hear, again, that healthcare is a business. But in the United States, healthcare is a business, and if you are no longer providing value in the form of reimbursement, nobody's going to pay you as much. Now, I have said you can start a cash pay practice, you can do this. I've never said all hope is lost. People take it however it is. I'm just presenting the reality. And in about 3 months, I'm pretty sure all of you guys will be like, oh shit, he was right. This happened back in the 2000s. Apparently it happened in 97 as well, but talking to some older PTs who went through this and couldn't find a job for months. The issue now is that it's compounded with so many people coming out of school, higher areas being oversaturated. Supply and demand economics is going to drive this down. The reason I'm making these videos, and you're asking me, well, what are you doing for the profession? I'm making these fucking videos, number one, to the public, because most of you guys are just jerking each other off and saying, oh, it's okay, keep your head up. Yeah, that's great if you don't want to provide for yourself, don't want to have a savings account, don't want to pay off your loans. And you might find that a little bit harsh, but that's just the reality of what's going on. If you guys don't know this and you can't see what's happening, you need to become awoken to your surroundings, because it is happening. And if you go back and read the comments I posted, you can see that it's happening, and it's not only affecting patients, it's affecting therapists, and overall, patients are going to get worse because they're going to get therapists that probably are lower quality, or they might not get therapy at all, might get therapy from a nursing assistant, a nurse, or something like that. Again, that's not always the case, but we are seeing lots of issues being compounded at a time with high student debt. If you look at the recent student debt post, some PTs have $330,000 in student debt. Most of them have $200,000 plus based on the recent post. So when you're seeing this, and now all the high-paying jobs are gone, all these skilled therapists are probably going to leave the profession. They're probably going to sue their school, sue the APTA, and that's up to you. You can do whatever you want. I'm just saying that what we're going to see is we might even see some suicides due to the financial issues that we see in the physician sector. And people don't want to talk about this. I'm telling you exactly what's going on. Now, I've also said you can brand your own content, you can go online, you can do, there's ways out to dictate your own worth. But most people can't start out financially independent, so they have to work for somebody and then save money to become financially independent. This is currently not the market to do that. Again, that being said, the market will adjust in a few years, for the good or bad, we don't know. But this next year is really going to determine what's happening. So again, what am I doing? I am an APTA member. I am putting out content. I'm educating the public. So I suggest you start doing the same. Educate pre-PTs, educate students, educate whoever you can, because the more this becomes aware, such as the New York Times article for skilled nursing facilities, the more people we can get on board with us, the more people are going to be like, hey, my grandma is going to be directly affected by this. Or the voting population, mostly seniors, are going to be like, well, if they don't die from, from sores and infections and getting to the super, super low level, which we've already predicted, as I've said multiple times, Medicare wants their money back for all the therapy fraud committed. They want the money back for upcoding rugs. They want the money back for extending certain periods. And now, with patients getting worse and high hospital readmissions, they're not going to have to pay as much for that either. So patients, unfortunately, are going to suffer the most. So please advocate for your patients. Ultimately, as mad as you are at me for posting this and saying that therapy isn't the best field to go into right now because of all these problems, that's actually not my main concern. My main concern is patients are going to get fucked. And we're going to see lots of patients get serious wounds, infections, and so on. That might be what it takes to change it, unfortunately, but I know you don't want that to happen to your grandma or grandpa, or if you are a senior watching this, sorry, I just had another technical issue, but my main point is you don't want this happening to you if you're a senior, you don't want this happening to your mom, your dad, your grandma, etc. And the main point is we need transparency in this profession, which is why we need to make people aware of these issues. Again, I'm Dr. Smith, physical therapist. Subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date on this content. Again, I believe I'm providing unbiased information. I'm just providing the reality of what's happening in the therapy world. Thanks, guys.